Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. We are the Odds Couple. We come to you from SportsbookReview.com. His name is Mike Brenner. My name is Peter Loshak. This is the NBA Odds Couple show for a Tuesday, January 17th. Mike Brenner, basically yesterday was the same as always. I had a slightly losing day. You had a winning day in the NBA, but your teaser lost. So let's throw the record up.
There we go, Dennis.
Overall, very nice. You're up 11.7 units plus 3.5% ROI. Of course, that would be much better if we didn't count the teasers.
Here we go.
But we have to count everything. But still, overall, that is an excellent record. Can you keep it going? I don't know. I think so. I believe you can. Today's card is a little bit. I don't know. There's a lot of. There's only 5 games.
There,
I might take
head scratchers.
I don't know. I mean, I might take a complete pass on this whole card.
You think I believe that? By the end of this show, you're going to have at least 3 or 4 picks.
I mean, I guess the most sort of no-brainery pick on the card is Houston against Miami, right? Houston obviously had a little bit of a speed bump when they had some scheduling issues that left them a little bit fatigued.
And then
they
got a little rest. It came out and had what? They absolutely dominated the last game.
So and then Miami, of course, is a very blowoutable team, a beatable team, a team that is slightly less than 50-50 ATS. So
and they're banged up.
Yeah. So I don't know. Is Houston a no-brainer play, Mike Brenner?
I'm pulling the trigger on the full game.
Okay.
Full game
really?
on this.
But not the first half.
Nope, full
Interesting.
Game.
Why?
Full
Why
game.
not the first half?
There's reasons for that.
Okay.
Pete.
Okay.
And Miami sometimes when they know they have to step it up, all right, at home, all right, and after they've come off some losses, they seem to step it up early. So Dragic, that kid puts the weight on his shoulders between him and Whiteside. I got to give it to him early. So I like the full game. What's the best shot line?
All right. Well, it's 7.5 or 8, so we can give you the Pinnacle line minus 7.5 minus 110.
Pull that trigger.
And the Greek has that line as well.
Okay.
All right. And not the first half, though. Interesting take.
I got his attention there, dude.
Yeah. And then obviously Houston has been an overtrending machine on the year, and Miami can go over when they're,
I was going to ask you about the total because the article I read, I think it's going to be a run and gun show. Spoelstra really wants to see more transition, and that's what's lacking right now. And I think when you tell Dragic that, look out, he's going to be flying up and down that floor. What's the number at the total?
Well, it's interesting because the first half is way higher than half of the total. The first half is 116.5. The full game is only 222, or Pinnacle with 221.5.
That is interesting compared to 116 on the half.
All right, I'll take the over.
There it goes.
I'll take the over 220.
I knew that blank card was going to have something on it.
221.5 minus 110 is the Greek line right now. 221.5 minus 110. It opened at 220. Now it's 221.5 is what I'll have to take. I guess you can't really go wrong leaning towards overs with Houston in general.
And
so
you can't go wrong following Pistol Pete.
Yeah.
Totals Loshak.
All right, then we also have another game that might have blowout written all over it. I don't know. Toronto and Brooklyn. Toronto absolutely blasted Brooklyn their last meeting, which is just a couple days ago. And
now they're going to Brooklyn.
Yeah, and Brooklyn is just all kinds of bad. They've lost a bunch in a row.
What is
ATS.
the big man on campus says? Dumpster fire.
Yeah, the Nets have lost 5 in a row ATS. They've lost 8 out of the last 9 ATS.
How would you like to put a Brooklyn Nets jersey on as a player?
No,
for real.
I mean,
that's got to be absolutely boring. Remember when they built this stadium and Jay-Z or whoever has part ownership in it, and everything looked, oh my God, this team absolutely is terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, Lopez says he's tired. He doesn't like playing there anymore. It's everything. He's got to do everything.
At the beginning of the year, they were terrible, but they were actually undervalued. They were covering their big underdog spreads, and now they're not even doing that. They're losing straight up and ATS.
And they're losing the crowd. They were. I looked where they're declining their tickets, and not even the season ticket holders aren't showing up. So, Pete, when you start losing your crowd, that's your 6th man on the floor. That goes a long way cashing tickets. Now you got Toronto going on the road.
3 straight covers for Toronto.
Yeah, on the road, picking up steam. Plus, they saw Cleveland get their asses handed to them last night. Yeah. So you can't tell me Toronto today isn't going, God, hey, man, we might have a shot finally. We might finally have a shot here in this division. What's the first half line on
Well,
that?
The first half would be 6.5. I don't know. It opened at 6. Now it's up to 6.5. That's the problem is that the road favorite line is very high.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
We don't even want to go there today.
All right, then next the game on the card is Dallas and Chicago. And this is an interesting one. This is one I did. If I had to give one pick on the overnight, I did bet it a little bit. I bet the over.
You hear that, Dennis? If I had to give one pick.
Well, Chicago's gotten a lot better. Chicago's gotten better since Butler came back, right? And they're scoring more. And Dallas, had
they're healthy now. They're healthier than they've been. Dallas.
So I will give that one. I'll give the over 195.5 minus 109.
Yeah.
195.5 minus 109. Now, I know that Dallas can be anemic offensively, but if they're okay offensively, I think
this is no knock at Nowitzki. You talk about anemic. Watch that guy dribble and shoot lately. He looks like a paraplegic. Lord forgive me. And I don't mean that in any way. I probably shouldn't have said that word. He does not look good going down the floor.
Right.
That guy has got the most awkward style, and that team is slow. They're just slow. They're not fun to watch, and then you tip it over the other side, you got Rick Carlisle, all right, who's the head coach. That's the most boring coach in basketball. You'd have a better talk with a piece of cardboard up against a wall.
So maybe the over isn't a good play.
It's not. I don't see over with that team.
No?
Pete.
What about the Chicago team total over, 100.5?
Boom. I wouldn't talk. Where's this game at?
Well, it's in Chicago.
Well, hell yeah, man. You got to. Butler's going off there. Boom. See,
So
that's what friends are for.
Yeah, there you go. I'll pull the full game over, and I'll just take
and I meant
the
nothing
Chicago.
with that paraplegic thing.
The Chicago. Right. That's good. That's good because in the 80s you could make fun of people who were disabled, but it's 2017, so we don't do that anymore.
No, and
it's good that you're with the times.
Anyway, I've never made fun of people. It's just the way it came out. It's
right.
Bottom line. It's Dirk Nowitzki. Look at him walk. Look at him shoot. You
there
tell
you
me.
Go. Mike Brenner, you're up with the times.
I'm up with the times.
You're as empathetic as a millennial almost.
There's a millennial again. There he goes with those big words. Going to throw me for a loop.
All right,
I'm on my 1980s iPad.
I'm going to take the Chicago team total over 100.5 minus 110, and I'll stay off the full game total.
Right.
You're right because Dallas is
lethargic.
although they did get some
anemic.
Yeah, they did play. They scored a little bit higher scoring.
And
in
here's
recent
another
games,
thing. DeRon Williams, he's been heating up, but then now he's back to his old pattern. He'll shoot 52% one night and then dip down to 30 the next. Boom.
Yeah.
There's no consistency again. So and JJ Barea, here's another one. Watch him run up and down the floor. You're like, what the hell? That guy make a roster?
Yeah.
All
All right,
Mark Cuban. Yeah.
And then the next game that's interesting is Minnesota and the Spurs, and obviously the Spurs have they're coming off a loss, but before that they were on a 13-3 ATS run. But Minnesota, a team that's always dangerous as a big dog, they lost their last
early.
game.
Yeah,
they lost their last game to Dallas actually.
Yeah, exactly. But Minnesota's been getting tired in the second half. All right, so they got these young guns and they're running up and down the floor, and literally they're kind of just it's wild, it's wacky. There's no form, and Thibodeau said this is a work. It takes time. It's not going to happen overnight.
Yes.
So with that being said, Pete, I'm thinking, what's the full game at?
Well, it's gotten bet up. It opened at 10.5. Now it's up to 11.5 or 12.
Points,
yeah,
man. Damn, that's
and
a lot
Minnesota is, they have their issues, but they're a
I know,
talented team.
and I know San Antonio coming off loss, but before that they were 9-3 or something against the spread. They were kicking
13-3. They covered 13 out of 16 before their loss at Mexico.
Revisit
in Mexico.
That one.
So,
let's see. We might come back to that one.
Tough card, and then the next one is Denver and the Lakers, and Denver's coming off of they're on a back-to-back, but two just massive offensive performances at home, putting up like 140, just sick offensive numbers.
Sick,
and
baby,
the Lakers, they started off the year with some life, but they've lost 4 in a row straight up in ATS. They're struggling.
You know what happened? Guess what happened now? Let's get another Kardashian effect. Did you see where Luke Walton went out to lunch with Lamar Odom? I'm not knocking him because, buddy, I beat that battle. All right, Lamar Odom is going to be hiring him as a coach. He thinks it's going to help him with his life situation, which it may. And my hat's off to Walton, but you know what? That team is a couple years away from really being.
So this
steady.
is a tough one. Denver off of 2 huge home wins.
Yeah.
Now they go on the road on a back-to-back, and they're playing the Lakers, who've been struggling.
And
so
Gallinari, I don't think's playing tonight, buddy.
Okay.
Oh, I don't think Gallinari's playing. That could be.
I don't know. My lean would be to the Lakers, but I'm not going to pull the trigger just because of how the momentum is.
That trigger. God, I love that saying.
I don't know. Yeah. All right. So as of right now, I guess all I'm doing is the Houston-Miami over and the Chicago team total over. I'll stick with that. 5 games, tough card, but I'll give those 2 picks. And what do you have, Mike Brenner?
I got 1 play. That's
it.
Just put it out.
Just
Houston.
Houston.
And I like it. Houston on the full game tonight.
Minus 7.5. All right.
Brenner breaking it down, and he's slowing it down a bit.
It is a tough card. We got a big slate tomorrow, though, and we'll be back on the Wednesday card. Back on Wednesday for the Wednesday card.
We're going to be back Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah,
we'll do it all. All right, guys. We're the Odds Couple. We're coming to you.
Go to SBRodds.com. Browse, compare, and shop live odds available at top online sportsbooks.